All right. What's up?
No, because we did that when we first called each other before we started the podcast, and it was like even better. It was like, see, I'm losing my voice, throat. Should we cut that out? All right, this is episode 26. What are we talking about today on Figure It Out, Steven?
You know what? Let's start off with I got this story about China spying on us using LinkedIn. Apparently, they were targeting like high-end government employees and whatnot to get information through them using fake accounts on LinkedIn. And Germany and Britain have already accused China of this in the past, and now we're saying that we've encountered it as well. So, I mean, you got three people saying you're doing something, and you're trying to deny it. I don't believe China anymore. It sounds like you're trying to spy on us.
Yeah, I mean, just own up to it. Everyone spies. Everyone does it, you know?
Yeah, like, we don't let it get to that level, you know? We're like, well yeah, of course we're spying on you. Why wouldn't we? We got to cover our asses.
Everyone's
China's trying to deny it as they try to, like I said, they target government employees and whatnot, people that have information that they can use against us, and they try to target them using LinkedIn, which I've never used. I'm not even sure how LinkedIn works.
Yo, I'm kind of jelly because I got like 5,000 connections on LinkedIn, and I've never got any Chinese spies trying to recruit me. What the fuck?
Like, you have no important
really,
government information.
I'm not really China. But no, the Russians hit me up. The Russians love me everywhere.
I was getting Russian love out in Sacramento. There's a bunch of them out there. Of course, they think I'm Russian.
I was thinking about doing an EP called "To Russia with Love."
Instead of "From Russia with Love."
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Oh no, you should do "To Russia with Love."
No, it was actually going to be "From Russia with Love" because it was with a Russian producer.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually produced a couple of my beats here and there, like maybe like I want to say like probably around like 2 or 3 of them. But he's a really dope producer, and I wanted to do like an EP with just his beats because like we fucking connect. I've got that Russian connection.
Right. And Russia seems to always be the concern. Like, back to the topic, everybody seems to think that Russia is trying to spy on us and fuck with us and whatnot. They're interfering with our elections and whatnot. But now we hear that China's spying on us too. Is that really a concern, or is this just the way the game is played, and we should just let that be that, and maybe tell our government employees to stop telling China what's up?
Well, our security center is on it, and like apparently they've already shut down a bunch of the spy accounts that were like trying to hit people up.
Yeah, well, this was an issue with sites like Facebook and Twitter. They've already deleted a bunch of fake accounts, but now LinkedIn seems to need to get on the same page. So,
which is kind of funny, considering like the whole atmosphere of LinkedIn, you know.
I don't know how it works. I don't know how LinkedIn works.
Because I mean, it's really just supposed to be like for professional thing. But you know what it is people like me getting on there, you know, who had no business being on LinkedIn. Like,
no, I get emails saying like so and so wants to talk to you on LinkedIn or wants to get in touch with you on LinkedIn. I'm like, delete. I don't know what the fuck this LinkedIn shit is, but I don't trust it. We're just China's using it to spy on us.
Yeah, you're probably the one getting the Chinese people recruiting you. You like
it? We know what's going on.
China,
all white people are in touch. Everybody knows what's going on the white side. Just you know how to get in touch with all the black people.
Well, you know what it is? I have too many Taiwanese friends. That's why China hates me. I'm like Trump, you know. I just recognize Taiwan as a nation, and I just pick up their phone calls, and now China just wants to like not send spies to me. I don't know what's up.
Not. Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, LinkedIn. That's like some old stuff too. Like I don't even know anybody who uses LinkedIn anymore. Or
I use LinkedIn. Well, not really. I just have one, just because.
Right. Just to say I did it. It was a bucket list thing.
I mean, Simpsons did it, so I had to do it, you know? Isn't that how it goes?
Simpsons did it. Oh, man.
They should have Diddy do it on The Simpsons. I think that would be like the ultiception.
Right. Are The Simpsons still going? Do they still make new episodes?
I'm sure they do. The Simpsons, like,
isn't that crazy? They got to be on like season 30 something by now. Like they've been going forever.
Yeah, but speaking back on topic though, like, do you remember a few years back when Russia and China, they made all those well, billion ruble deals, so like 2 cents, but no,
Vaguely.
but seriously.
Yeah, vaguely. I don't know the story too well. It sounds familiar though. It rings a bell. That's about it.
Well, anyways, Russia and China, they've kind of been in cohorts to set stuff up between themselves for quite a while now. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all know they've been working together more than we've been working with either one of them.
Yeah, so, I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me if like there's like with the Rush, if there's spies or like going back to them and whatnot,
Yeah, like Russia influenced China to be like, hey, check this out. You should be spying on the U.S. Do this. This is what we're doing. Or maybe China's hitting Russia up. They're like, hey, check this out. We're doing this. Check out this LinkedIn shit.
Well, there's also that brief period where everyone was getting caught spying on each other. Like we got caught spying on Germany. Germany got caught spying on the UK. It was just like
I'm sure it happens constantly. I'm sure we're constantly getting caught spying on each other. And just every once in a while, there's one of these big stories where it's like they actually got a bunch of people to give them information, and it was working for a minute, and then they got caught, and now it's a big deal. I'm thinking it's something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, like everyone's always spying on each other. It's just a matter of if they feel like showing that they caught them. Like I think they just like kind of circle the wagons with that. You know what I mean? Like they always know that everyone's spying on each other, but like every now and then they need to throw a little smoke screen out there. Like, oh my gosh, they're spying. Look at what we found. And it's like, yeah, no shit.
Especially when they do some shady shit like use LinkedIn.
Speaking
come on, spy like a man.
Fight like a man.
Buy like a man.
I only box Russian backward. I mean, wait, Irish.
All right.
Yeah. I'm so like,
Russian.
what would be? But what was your other story about?
My second story was about Donald Trump supposedly trying to get rid of labor unions. The article that I read made it sound like he was, against the middle and lower classes by getting rid of labor unions. My thought is getting rid of unions isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I want to discuss the pros and cons of getting rid of labor unions and whether or not that really is a bad thing. Because in my opinion, I think labor unions cause as many problems as they do solutions. And it's really like it's not like it was back when unions first became a thing, back when people were getting paid like 5 cents a day to work at the factory for 14 hours. You know, obviously we have laws now that prevent stuff like that from happening, and labor unions maybe aren't so necessary as they were 100 years ago. And perhaps getting rid of them isn't such a bad thing. Because I mean, like, say the labor union gets you a raise, and everybody's getting paid, at least $6 above minimum wage. But then you got to pay a whole bunch of money to your union in order to be a part of the union, because there's union fees, and so that raise that you got really just goes to the union, and it's just the union making money off off of the money that they say that they earned for you, and you're still making the same amount of money anyways.
Yeah,
so,
and you kind of have to go along with the union, otherwise, you're like,
yeah, well, you don't have a choice.
Your own thing, yeah. Well, no, that's the thing is a lot of people like want to not be a part of their union now, but they're like kind of like forced to,
Yeah, there's not this huge advantage of being a part of a union anymore. Minimum wage here in California is $11 an hour now. I don't know what a union's going to help you get, but
it could be a bit more. Still, union jobs typically, like when you look at like the averages of things, union workers tend to get paid more than non-union. Apparently,
yeah, but then they gotta pay these union fees. They gotta deal with being a part of a union, and like it's not your say, it's your union say, and what everybody that's a part of the union says, and a majority vote wins basically. So
yeah, that's
you
the
might
whole
not
thing.
get your way if you're a part of a union either. You just gotta deal with what the union decides is best for you. So.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Because it's not like this thing to empower workers anymore. Where before, because like collective bargaining, what I mean, that basically takes you doing well, like, and getting rewarded for that. Because most people they want, if they're gonna like bust their ass and work hard for a job, they kind of want. Typically, people want to be rewarded for that. Like, if you're going to work your ass off, right, then you want to be rewarded for working your ass off. But but the union just like levels it for everyone, so it's like, what's the point? Mm-hmm. It's all going to be collective bargain anyway.
Yeah,
so we're all getting the same shit. So,
well, like an example that I could think of that's not union related would be like I worked in a casino for 5 years. Most Indian casinos here in California and most casinos in Vegas, they collect all the tips that every dealer makes, and then they split it up evenly amongst everybody. But then there's these card rooms where you get to keep your own tips. So whatever you make, you take home for yourself, and that's it. So like you might have one, $100 night, and then the next night you might make, $700. You never know. But you keep your own tips. Whatever you make, that's yours. You earned it. And a lot of blackjack dealers, they prefer to keep their own tips instead of pulling them amongst everybody, because then it's on you. You want to work harder because and you want to do a good job. You want to make your customers happy because that that's your best chance of getting a good tip, is at least be entertaining and be fun to be around as a dealer, so that you can get maybe get a few more tips out of it, versus when you have to pull your tips with everybody else that you're working with that night. It's like, well, who gives a shit if I'm nice to this person or not? I'm gonna make the same amount either way.
Yeah,
So,
that's like, if there's no extra motivation for you to get your due, then
yeah, I feel like
it doesn't
unions
increase.
can cause a problem with productivity too.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
and
like, why work extra hard for the same amount of money that this asshole is getting next to me when he doesn't do shit?
but the thing is here, so of course, Trump really ran on that whole, fighting for the workers kind of thing.
Mhm.
So do you think that, because like there
That's where this
there
story is
are,
kind of stemming from too, because they're trying to say that Trump is against the working class
right?
by getting rid of unions, but I don't necessarily see it that way. I think he's trying to
Yeah,
help still.
yeah, yeah. Well, see, my thing though is I'd like to get a few people, like if we could like poll them, who are in unions, and see what they think about that, because
Mhm.
uh, while I agree that the practicality for unions is not near the same as what it used to be,
Mhm.
um, I still have that apprehension to enough that, like, maybe we still keep unions in place, uh, just in case, because what if you know laws are changed where it's not, where workers' rights aren't protected and stuff. I don't know. It's just kind of weird because all the initial things that that this country got out of unions, those have all pretty much been rectified. So
Right.
it's it's really hard to say how much they're still needed, and how much, or like what would be the repercussions if we just got rid of unions altogether. You know, then would
Yeah.
that have backlash to where, like, oh snap, we actually did need those to still protect people as, like, you know the last saving measure? But I mean, we already have laws in place now that kind of replace what those did. So I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think of
it's
that?
it's hard to say. I really don't see, like, because I mean, obviously every law gets passed through votes. Um, I don't see the labor laws getting changed too much without unions, or it would take a long time for it to go way south, if anything. So I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, you know, my opinion's a little biased because I never worked for with the company. I've never been a part of a union. I never worked for a company that had a
I
union,
had a lot of
so I
jobs,
don't.
but only one of them actually was union, as with UPS.
Okay,
And
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, they're unionized, and for them, like, there's they have like some perks and stuff, but
Oh, I'm
then, like,
sure.
I don't know, it just seemed like kind of dead end.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I can see how it can be beneficial, but with the way things are now, it's not necessary. And so for Trump to be pushing to get rid of unions, I don't really think is a big deal. I feel like a lot of these these people on the left, they're trying to make Trump look as bad as possible, so they're making it sound like he's anti-worker and all that. When
Well, that's
really,
always the
I think he's just trying to get something, get rid of, something that's sort of obsolete now.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is they kind of blew their wad a little early with all that. Like Trump's destroying everything because they you know they hyperbolize so much for every little thing that now it's like I'm trying, like you have like second doubts, like okay, like is he doing something bad actually? Because like you
Yeah,
guys,
it's fair to say because I don't trust the media anymore. Like I feel like every story that they put out is just a huge exaggeration to make the other side look bad, and I don't want to listen to that shit.
well, it's just because like it was like, oh, he's gonna destroy the world this way, and he's destroying the world this way, and then time and time again, like it doesn't happen, and then he does something else, and then that next thing happens to be the end of the world, and it just never plays out, and it's like really, I just don't believe you anymore. There's no way you're in this constant hysteria about everything.
Right.
And
everything's the end of the world. It's all bad. Everything that's happening is bad. This is bad.
It's bad. And then unemployment goes down again. Oh no, this is the last straw. This is actually gonna do this. And then unemployment goes down again. It's like, what are you guys talking about?
The middle class is moving back up. It's the end of the world.
The one thing is like with that I mean you could say there could be an argument for is like obviously the tariff thing is gonna have some blowback here and there, and then with like
the steel tariff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
that one's ridiculous. I don't know why he's doing that. If of all his policies, that one drives me nuts the most. Like, just drop it. We already had this discussion, anyways. We talked about this a few episodes ago. Yeah, it's like forget about the fucking steel tariff, bro. Move on.
Yeah, and then then there's some repercussions with the farmers and stuff, and having to bail them out. So like, has that remove been great? No, so like that's why you have to kind of like keep your skepticism of like, oh, is this gonna, so.
But I still feel like he is trying to do good for us, not bad. Maybe all of his ideas aren't good ones, but are like not all of my ideas are good ones either. Like I'm a human being. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
I don't expect him to be superhuman or anything like that. I just expect him to try to do his best to be the president is all, And I don't feel like he's just fucking around over there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm the president. Let's go party.
No, it's really fun because like to be human, you throw out all these ideas, and most
some
of them
stick, some don't.
most of them are gonna be terrible, but you need those. You need to throw those terrible ones out so that we could see it as terrible, and then that's just having something to get to the good idea.
Right.
Like there's gonna be,
and it's not. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say there's gonna be some good ideas that we need to get to that are gonna be needed to get to the next stage. But then there's gonna be some terrible ideas where if we took them, it would destroy everything.
But like it's not like Donald. This is my point.
We need the ideas out there to
it's not like Donald Trump says like, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and then it happens. Like he says, "This is what I think is a good idea," and then Congress and the House discuss it. It goes to vote, and after all is said and done, a bunch of people have put in their 2 cents, and now we're like, all right, this is either a good idea or a bad idea. It's not just one person saying this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So like, even if Donald Trump has a bad idea, which he's gonna have bad ideas, there's the balance of power that keeps those bad ideas from actually going through. you know.
Exactly. And
That's with every president. I don't care if it's George Washington or fucking Ronald Reagan or something. It doesn't matter who the president was. They've all had bad ideas.
Yeah. And it's just, and that's the one of the beautiful things of our system is that the president could have a lot of bad ideas, as is obvious is going to happen as being as a human being, and then
and also
we have the checks and balances to make sure if we put it out, if we end up going with the good ones, like by the time everything's said and done.
Yeah, and I mean, we're in an age now where everybody knows everybody's business. Like, we hear about these bad ideas before they even go to vote sometimes. So, I mean, like maybe he just brought it up off the top of his head, like, hey, let's do this, and then somehow that winds up the news, like Donald Trump's trying to do this. It's like, hey, it's just an idea. Don't kill me over it. Yeah, I'm not gonna have bad or good ideas every time. I'm sorry, but like 10 years ago, that even 15, 10, 15 years ago, that wasn't the issue. Like, we didn't hear about all these bad ideas from President Bush or President, President
Clinton.
Yeah. Sorry. It's like, damn, she just ran for election too, and I already forgot her last name. Yeah, her husband. But like we didn't hear about all these bad ideas or the ones that didn't get passed. We hear about every single idea because all that stuff gets passed through social media the next day. And in conclusion to whether or not Donald Trump trying to get rid of unions is a good or bad thing, I don't think it really has a huge negative effect on us in any way. I think it's being built into or turned into something bad just because the left is trying to turn Trump into a bad guy in some way. Or the media is trying to turn Trump into a bad guy in some way. Any little thing that they can find that he might be doing wrong or they can find that might make him look bad, they're trying to spin it into something that is bad. When really, I really think that he is trying to benefit this country. I don't think that he's trying to do anything that would hurt us in any way. Like, I feel like he's doing his best.
Well, quick question on a specific of that. What about with like teachers unions and and that kind of thing of their whole safety guard? Do you think we need those, or what do you?
No, like even I think that's the same as with any other union. I mean, like teachers are expected to make a certain minimum, and
teachers are still pretty like from like all the like
they make more than I do.
Well, I mean, but still, all the public school teachers I know are always kind of like bitching about their pay and stuff.
Well, maybe they shouldn't be teachers. Like, maybe that's not rewarding enough for them.
Well, because also our system,
you get like 4 months a year off.
Yeah, I definitely bring that point up.
And you still make $30,000 a year. I don't see what the big deal is, or at least $30,000. I don't know of any teachers that make less than $30,000 a year. And like I'm like that, my best year was right at $30,000 a year. So really? I had to work my ass off to get that, and I don't feel. Like I said, you get 4 months a year off, so really you're making $30,000 a year, only working 8 months out of a 12-month year. And that's, like I said, the minimum. That's the lowest I've heard, and that was back when I was going to elementary school. I heard like 34, 35,000 a year. And like my stepmom, she was a teacher.
You think teachers need to quit being pussies?
Well, like my stepmom, she was she had her master's in, I want to say, English or music. It was one of the two, but she was an English teacher and a music teacher, and she was making $80,000 a year teaching high school students music and English. Um, so I think if you just apply yourself, you can earn that kind of money too. Like, you know, if you really just, if you want to make more money, go make more money. Go get the education you need. Go make it happen. You know, I don't think unions are necessary.
Word. Very solidly put, Stephen. Very solidly put.
Appreciate it.
How about with like teachers having it being so hard to fire them, once they have tenure and that kind of stuff with their unions. What kind of effect do you think that
Well, I know a lot of I knew a lot of teachers that had tenure and all that, and some of them still had such a passion for teaching that, you know, they really still took their job seriously. But a lot of other ones, they kind of got lazy just because they knew they weren't going to get fired tomorrow because of their laziness, you know, because they had tenure. So I think that if anything, it almost forces a teacher to continue to be a good teacher throughout their career because their job's always on the line. If that makes any sense.
Their job's always on the line, even
because
though
there's no such thing as tenure. There's, you know, you can't be at a spot where it's difficult to be fired. So you always have to be on your A game as a teacher, just like with any other employee. If they start getting lazy, then, you know, maybe their hours get cut, or they get laid off or fired, you know, because they're not putting out the effort that they should be putting out. I think tenure allows a lot of teachers to kind of just sit back and relax.
So you're saying that they shouldn't have tenure then?
I don't care if they do or don't. I got I got through school. I came out just fine.
Yeah,
I'm saying I don't think it makes that big of a difference either way. And for Donald Trump to be getting rid of unions, I think, like, I don't see why that's such a big deal. Is my point. I don't think it's as big of a deal as the media is making it out to be. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, well, nothing's as big as a deal nowadays as the media makes it out to be.
That's true.
But ironically enough,
they should get called out though.
Yeah, you know what they're not making a big enough deal about, which is really ironic, like, because it's something that warrants them to make a big deal out of.
What's that?
Is the church scandal.
I know that kind of got swept under the rug pretty quick, didn't it?
Yeah, like, what the like, you know, like, people are all right. First, people are always, you know, ripping on the priests and kids thing, right? That's like pretty much a commonplace joke and now, you know,
right? Everybody knows that's happening.
Yeah, even though, like, you know, just as many other religious institutions, the school system, you know, there's plenty of organizations where actually it's statistically more likely that, you know, kids could be victim to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's always been a running joke about, you know, like priests and like altar boys and whatnot, right? But now, like, then when all this like stuff comes to light, they're really not pressing hard on like the people who were responsible, you know, and Pope Francis, you know, like, I've always been a big fan of him, so it's really disheartening, and you know, just disheartening for the church as a whole, for him to, like, who's supposed to be essentially, like a leader figure of it,
Mm-hmm.
to not address some, like obvious evil going on in a, in an organization that's supposed to be fighting for good.
Right? Isn't that fucked up? I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're supposed to represent all that is good, and you're doing this fucked up shit behind everybody's back, and then people wonder why, like, so many people aren't going to church anymore. Like, church is a dying institution. Well, I mean, can't even let your kids alone with the priest, the person you're supposed to be trusting the most is the least trustworthy person. Why would you go to church?
Yeah, well, I don't
It's
know.
like,
It just, I don't know. It's one thing too. Like, so sure, like because of like obviously, I think the reasons like why things would normally be handled internally with the church are obvious, right? Like it's very different from the secular world. But if they're not going to handle things internally, well, then it has to, there has to be some like legal repercussions or something outside of the church because they're clearly not handling it, right?
right. Yeah, somebody has to do something. Somebody has to step up and be like, "No, we're done with this. This is 2018. We're going on 2019 now. I mean, this has been an issue for a long time. You guys need to cut this shit out. We need to find some sort of solution to end this problem." And like I believe we discussed this already. We're talking about like, hey, just let priests be able to get married to women.
Right.
You know,
Did we mention that on the episode, or was that just on the phone?
I can't remember, but I know we had that discussion, and that was recent. And yeah, just just let them be able to get married. Let them get laid. Is that so bad?
Yeah. And I don't know. That's what I've always kind of. I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. Like,
Or
yeah,
we also I brought this up last time too. If you really want to be a priest, just get castrated. You're like, hey, this is how dedicated I am. I'm so dedicated that I will get rid of my balls. I will not think about sex whatsoever anymore for my life. I just want to push for everybody to follow me to God. Yeah, just listen to my word. Let me teach you about God. Let me teach you. All right, like sex is not an option for me ever again for the rest of my life. That's how dedicated I am. That and who wouldn't trust that person?
Well,
God.
I don't know. Would you trust a ballless man?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just spitballing here. These are just ideas. I'm just saying.
Hey,
obviously that's an extreme. That's a huge extreme. But I'm saying
wrong with
I do trust a person with that kind of dedication. Like they're really about that life.
Yeah, it's like, whoa. I really wish I had your balls. Like, I mean, I don't wish I had your balls because you have no balls, but like the balls on you to take away your balls.
It took some nuts to get rid of those nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and because we have to laugh at it because this is tragic.
It is tragic. It's been going on for a long time and nobody's doing anything really about it. We just say, hey, this is bad. Why? And then
I mean, because it was apparently over like 1,000 cases. That's a lot.
But I'm not surprised. I'm not even surprised. Like we've all heard this story before. And that's probably why it didn't get brought up too much in the media because like we're tired of hearing about these Catholic priests doing stuff to.
But then we have like like the freaking Me Too stuff. Like one person in Hollywood, like we have like what's her name, the porn star who's kept going everywhere.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
The one who messed with Trump. Stormy Daniels, right?
Okay. I've heard the name. I don't even know what she looks like.
Yeah, like okay, like like they make a big deal about her, who like had sex for money, accepted the deal, and then went back and like it was like, oh, like they're making it her out to be like she's like this victim when she accepted the sex and money, like
Yeah, that's a business transaction.
Yeah,
you accepted it before you even did it. It was you're not a victim in this situation.
Yeah, and they're trying to like do this whole like victim card shit, and then there's all these thousands of actual victims, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's because that's church, and like
It's just the way it is.
And but Pope Francis is fighting fucking global warming, because that's the real evil. We need to,
Yeah, not us ruining little kids' lives before they have a chance to be adults or anything like that and go and make something of themselves. No, it's all about global warming.
Yeah, that's clearly.
They might have already fucked up the kid that could have saved global warming. And now he's out raping people instead of helping the world,
Yeah.
You created a monster instead of helping somebody who could have saved the world. Who knows?
That's the way the cycle goes, mate. Yeah.
Great movie.
It's a cruel, cold, brutish world.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
You say great movie. What movie?
I was saying American Psycho, but or was it just Psycho?
I don't know. What was the reference from?
They're both good. I don't know. You said Psycho or something like that, and I was thinking.
Oh, I said it's a cruel, cold world.
Before that, but yeah, forget it. Not a big deal.
I'm tired right now that like my memory is like that of a goldfish.
It's not good.
I'm just blaming it on the tiredness. It probably has a little to do with it, and more just to do with like addiction recovery. Don't do drugs, kids. I was smart at one point in my life.
Too many drugs, not enough sobriety. I don't know what's real anymore.
No, that's the thing, is that when you go sober, then it's like, whoa, you finally
another high.
Because like when you're constantly doing drugs, you're just like, oh, it'll bounce back once I stop doing drugs. And then you come out, it's a few years later, and like, whoa, what decade am I in? Why isn't people wearing tie-dye anymore? What's going on?
That's quite a binge right there.
Yeah.
So I'm in a whole different era now. What happened?
But when the world is like this, man, how can you not?
I like to go back and forth from reality to the drug world. I like to go, one or the other.
Yeah, no. Yeah, until
it's like a whole nother high after a while. If you
don't want to go back anymore.
For a minute, it's like, oh shit, being sober is pretty cool.
Yeah, and then you go back and it's like, whoa, sobriety's one hell of a drug, dude. Is this reality? Damn, homie, have y'all tried some of this reality? I'm high on reality right now, like. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I need to try some more drugs though. I've only dipped my toes in a couple, and then I smoke a lot of weed and I drink.
You really gonna say that after my whole like PSA of how drugs are bad, okay?
I don't think all drugs are bad.
Don't
To be
tell
honest, I think alcohol is one of the worst ones. I think alcohol can screw with you in ways that you don't even realize that it's screwing with you.
Oh, especially with the contraindications. Alcohol mixed with things, recipe for disaster.
It's fun though.
It's like, whoa, what's this combination gonna do? It's like your own episode of Dexter's Lab, you know?
I remember that show.
Yeah.
Missy Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it's like Dexter's making this like concoction, right? It's got to be the right exact shit, and then like freaking Dee Dee comes over and just pours like a bucket load of like Molly in his drink. Next thing you know, Dexter's fucked up, right?
He's lying. Doing like sets of 200 push-ups at a time.
But yeah, speaking of alternatives to drugs and a healthy lifestyle, how about charity miles?
Yeah, back to sobriety. While you're sober, you should try get in some charity miles.
We have now created our own team for the podcast. So join that. It's called Figured It Out with the D at the end. Figured It Out. Because it's funny because we never figured it out. So
I'm not even sure what's going on still.
And it's way too much reality, bro. And yeah, if you join it, Steven pointed this out, that the icon on charity miles to join the team is two people running together hand in hand.
Because that's what you do on a team. You run holding hands.
Yeah. Because who doesn't hold hands when they run? Like even like for your girlfriend, your boyfriend, what have you. Don't you like run holding hands? Like, isn't that how people run?
I'll never let go.
Oh, never let go, Rose. Me either, Jack.
She let go though.
She definitely let go.
He was frozen by the time she let go, but she still let go.
Yeah, which is like, a testament to her, because like to get out of a frozen dude's grip who's like freezing is like, and she's just
hanging on to you to stay up.
Because you think his grip would have been tight as fuck. Like, nah, you ain't letting go, dude. Like, I'm on this. But she's just like, nigga, please, I'm gone.
You're dead. I'm still alive. Gotta look out for number one.
Survival instincts, bitch. We got your ass more on the. There's plenty of ice. Like, I don't know what he's doing that half water shit. Like, but anyways, you can hold on with us.
Back to charity miles.
Yeah,
we will not be in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean after getting hit by an iceberg. We will be running in California or biking.
Yeah. Or you could do your charity miles in the Atlantic Ocean. You just have to find a whole lot of icebergs.
For sure.
Or you can get on like one of those giant like Galapagos turtles and like, put a leash on it and like swim it out there to the middle of the Atlantic and then like just run back and forth on the turtle. You probably get a lot of miles that way.
So you might be able to cheat and get some miles just rolling with the turtle.
Yeah. Oh, turtle miles.
That could be a problem. We might lose some turtles.
But you could also donate your charity miles to the organization of turtles. I'm just kidding. I don't think that's one of the charities you could choose from. But there's a lot of great charities on there. Join our team. Figured it out. I do Autism Speaks a lot, or St. Jude's. I know, Steven, you like Wounded Warrior Fund, right?
I'm always on Wounded Warrior Project. Unless they're doing some sort of special for something else where it's like, oh, if we earn so many miles, we'll give this kind of money to this charity. I'll do those sometimes, but yeah, it's usually Wounded Warriors Project.
Right, yeah. Every now and then, like a charity will have like extra points. Yeah, if you join our team, then we all get extra points for whatever charity you want to choose of your choice. So let's team up and run hand in hand.
I already got a couple friends that are down to join. I'll set that up ASAP.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun. Yeah, we could still. I think we should just like banter off some stuff until the clock runs out for this one. Whatever you want.
What was that?
What do the people want?